just being able to go on the trip was a highlight for me. The whole thing, just showing the devil that he can't stop me was the big deal. The devil couldn't stop me from going on another missions trip because he tried to cut me down to where I wouldn't go on another one by giving me malaria, so I'd think that if I go on another one, I'm going to have the same thing happen to me again. But I think going on this one, it's just showing him that he's not going to stop me. He didn't give me malaria, but I'll just go on another one. He can, do whatever. I'll keep going on.
We were at a school, I believe, or some sort of building, some crusade. And, they had told us to go out and pray for the people, and, generally it would be the people that had their hands up and were praising God and everything. And there was this girl that was just standing there, didn't really look like she was into it at all. And I walked right by her, and something told me to stop, and I didn't want to, but I did anyways. And I turned around and I asked her if I could pray for her, and she kind of shook her head, yeah. And I started praying for her, and I got this, this thing in my spirit, and I just kind of pulled myself back and looked at her, and I was like, "You're worth more than what a man will pay for you." And the second I said it, I was like, "Oh my gosh, I really hope I didn't miss that." And I hope that was for her, because if it's not, I'm gonna look really stupid. And she started crying and fell into my arms. And I basically went on to tell her that she's worth more than the price of rubies and the price of jewels and everything. But I think that was a big thing for me, is actually praying for someone that, because she was young, she couldn't have been older than I am, and seeing the fact that they're barely like 13, 14 years old, and that's all they know is to sell themselves for money and to be able to raise themselves and raise their kids and stuff. It takes my breath away, because you don't really, here in America, you don't think, you're 14, you don't have a job, you don't think about doing anything like that, and they are forced to, basically live on their own when they're little kids.
Going to the different schools and seeing the way that the teenagers reacted to all of us, because if you go to any schools in America and try to do a Christian concert, a few people join in but not really, and there it's just crazy, and they're like mobbing you and wanting your autograph, and so it was very different.
I have two. One was going to see Pastor Bowboy in the mountains, and just knowing that he faces death almost every day, but yet he still seeks after God, still wants to build his church. He faces starvation, his family faces starvation, yet they still believe in God to feed them, to bring him rice, to bring him bananas, or whatever it may be. And then the second experience was probably just any of the schools. Probably the second to last school we went to, which was I think the largest school, just to see thousands of kids who, they kind of know who God is and everything, but when you preach to them, you show them some skits and stuff, they go fanatical about all of it. And it's just, I don't know, it's amazing to see that many people screaming for God.
Probably breathing the smog all the time really choked me up. The prison, the men's prison that we went to, just going there and seeing that, all these guys are in prison, but they have a church, and they're all praising Jesus with us and praying, and they're all spirit-filled Christians, and I was just amazed that that's the way it was, because they were all convicts and murderers and gangsters and stuff. So it was just really shocking to me and surprising.
Guys are supposed to pray for guys, girls are supposed to pray for girls, but I just saw this guy and I just felt led to pray for him. He was so like into it, I guess, and just really worshiping God and praying out loud, and I was like, I'll pray for him. So I went over and I started praying for him, and I just told him what came out of my heart, and then I was done and I just started to walk away, and he goes, "Can I pray for you?" And I was like, okay, it's never happened, but all right. And he just prayed for me, exactly what God's been was telling me on the trip. And I just started bawling again, of course. And he just kind of looked at me like, all right. And it just really God, it's not like God can only talk to certain people. He can talk to anyone, he can speak through anyone. And it just coming from him, first of all, it was I I don't know what the word is, but like, wow, this is really God, because he's telling me through some random Filipino guy that I don't even know.
Just, it was hard for me to just, when we went to Pastor Bev, is that his name? We went to his house and we just see, and we held those kids, the babies, and oh, that was just, oh. I think that was the first time I cried. I mean, just to think that he used to have nothing, and now that's the whole world thing now. I mean, to me, I mean, I'm not trying to sound selfish or anything, but to me that doesn't look like anything still. But I mean, to him, it's the whole world, and it makes me happy just to think like how he takes that and how he uses it to its full extent, just so much, instead of just being like, oh my gosh, we need something so much better. But then he just says, this is perfect, you know? He takes what he has.